Welcome to CF 2.0 Geek Out, where we deep dive into ClickFunnels 2.0 and how to use it to grow your funnel building business.
Hey, I'm Susan.
And I'm Andrea.
Come along with us as we learn and discover how to use the new ClickFunnels and how to make it bend to our will. Okay, we are live.
Yay!
Hello.
Hello!
I feel like it's been way too long since I have been on here.
We've been dying, so you have an excuse.
Yes, I'm still a little off. My voice is going to sound a little funny today, but
got her.
we are going to work through it. All right, I'm checking sound right now. I think we're good. Okay. So, Andrea, I'm going to have you do a lot of the talking today.
Okay. Well, do you want to share that? I think really
yes.
We've been eagerly waiting, and we're always like keeping one ear to the ground and trying to figure out like what's happening, where are we at, what's going on. And so we know that like tuning into Guston is definitely, is it Guston? I always want to say Guston, like the Beauty and the Beast Guston, but I don't know if that's actually, hopefully I'm saying his name right. Guston.
There we go. We're there now. All right.
Yeah. So like we tune into him because we know that he's being asked by Russell to make the Dan Kennedy funnel hub. And we know that the funnel hub was made in 2.0, but the sales funnel part of it was still 1.0. And so what we predict is that they're going to release funnel hubs for everybody. But we know in the announcement from Russell that they may not release it until the editor's done. So we can go full blown funnel sales funnels. But we got one more nugget of it might be coming soon in this post that was on the Freedom Funnels, which is Guston's private Facebook group. And it said basically that, and this was also on Russell's personal profile.
Yeah.
It basically said, if you want to, if you have been a funnel designer and been in the funnel world for a while, we're looking for people like full-time, all hands on deck to basically do some, what I translate into, you have a blog or you have a 1.0 something else out there, and we're going to take that content and turn it into a funnel hub for you so that when you come into 2.0, it's this easy conversion from 1.0 to 2.0. But it's like manual migration and building those.
Yeah, it sounds like to me, like Russell didn't really get into like what this blog is. We don't know if it's like the ClickFunnels blog or if he has some client that they wanted to move over or whatever. Like we don't have those details, but we do know that they are needing to test it and they needed it done ASAP is what it says. I myself saw this post I think it said it was like 47 minutes after he posted it.
I know.
And by the time I got my message to him, the post, and Andrea, you sent me the screenshot. Thank you for looking out for me. But also by time I got my message to him and submitted, you're like, oh, the post got taken down. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's good. Like I saw the post. I was able to comment on it. Like it said too before I don't know if they deleted it or maybe hid it so no one else could see it. And I was like, cool, that means like my chances are better because there's not as many people that are going to see the post. So all week I've been keeping my eye on my messenger for my message to Russell, and it never even got seen. So I think they picked somebody. I think they got a ton of people interested in it, and that's exciting. It's really cool to see that they're getting closer to the point where they're moving 1,000 blog posts over. Like you're not going to put in all that work if it's not ready. So
yeah. Well, and I think it's definitely them taking a hit at the like WordPress market, right? Of these new people to try to say, we all know the concept of the website is dead, but I think that the paradigm of the website is still alive and strong, And so I think trying to hit at the more mass market and do that conversion, is there.
And I think that, we kind of have been speculating on it since they announced it, but like ClickFunnels built its business off of saying websites are dead. But one of the biggest requests or biggest asked question that I always got from a prospective client that I was trying to say, hey, like you've got a website happening here, which is great, but you really should have a funnel, and try to make that mindset shift. The most frequently asked question I always got was like, well, can it do my blog too?
Yeah.
Can I have my
Yep.
blog on there? And I'd
Yep.
always have to say, and since then I have learned there are ways, right? Embedding a Medium blog.
Yeah.
But at the time it was like, no, you're gonna have to keep WordPress for that. And
Yes.
that's like the answer that people get is, yeah, well, if I have to have both, then I'm just gonna stick with WordPress, right? Or if I
Yeah.
have to, if I have to have both, I'm gonna stick with the cheaper options for my funnels. So that while funnels are more powerful than websites in most cases, I'm glad to see that they are recognizing that there are still people that use blogging as a way for traffic and authority building and educating their audience. And so I'm glad that they are recognizing that there is a need for it. And if they want to be a all-in-one platform or software, then they need to actually do that and provide
Yeah.
a way, like the basic things that people need where they're hosting their website have to be where ClickFunnels is at if they want to take over those markets.
Yeah. I have a little bit of a different philosophy on that.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think it's not that I disagree with anything you said, because I agree. I think to most people who, having multiple parts of the tech stack can be overwhelming. They just want everything in one spot. Being able to have a viable option inside ClickFunnels, I think is critical for that market. I still think, though, that even with all the improvements that they're going to do, I do not think they're going to outperform Medium. I mean, Medium has 10 million new customers every month on their platform. So I could envision myself like still doing the Medium embed on 2.0 for that reason.
And
But
your reason is because if your purpose of having a blog is for organic traffic and
yes,
to get eyes on it organically, the Medium is the answer because
yes,
Medium is showing your post on your behalf to all of its
yes,
users. Well, not all of the users, but the
yes,
market of your of users that they have that they feel it's right for.
yeah,
And so yes, I 100% agree with that. If that is your primary goal of having a blog, and in most cases that's probably why people have a blog.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so that's
yeah.
a really good point.
Yeah. But all that to say, like, again, saying it's almost like a box check, like, oh, we have that functionality, we're good, right? I think the other two reasons why people don't, are reluctant to go to ClickFunnels and want to keep with their websites is the SEO myth. And I call it an SEO myth. Because I think it's not that if you're asking the question, does WordPress outperform ClickFunnels on the SEO front? The answer is yes, but you're asking the wrong question,
Mhm.
right? So I think it'll be interesting, the education that comes out in like you consciously moving over to ClickFunnels away from websites. It's a very conscious strategy decision in your business, right? And that I'm embracing the funnel strategy, and therefore my technology and the way I structure my technology is going to be based to support that strategy. Um,
Yeah.
and so even having a funnel hub, I call them funnel nexuses, but even having a funnel hub, the way that you construct that is very different than how you would approach the design of a website. Because the whole goal is trying to get them to find it, but then immediately get into a funnel. And so I'll be interested to see what kind of training Russell comes out with, because he hasn't really talked about the strategy of the funnel hub. I mean, it's not his, right? Like Mike and AJ are the ones that created the funnel hub concept. And the
Hmm.
whole reason they did it on WordPress to begin with, I think, is because they were a WordPress shop. And so that's why it's there.
Yeah.
Um, and the whole SEO myth,
Yeah.
played into that too. But
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like if they're wanting to dominate all of these markets, I think it comes down to like, okay, if we're going to tackle the WordPress market, what are all of the things that people use WordPress for?
yeah,
And where there's no way we're going to be able to get them to convert if we aren't providing some level of that feature. So
yeah,
I think that I think you're absolutely right in that it may not be the best place to be doing your blog. Like no one's going to be like, I'm going to start a blog, I'm going to use ClickFunnels. Like nobody's going
right,
to say that. But it's
right,
like, oh, I have a funnel, it's doing really well. I think I want to try also adding in a blog. Then maybe they'll be like, oh, it's already a feature right here, it makes it easy, I don't have to go and search out another place to do this.
yeah,
um But yeah, I think they have to be able to serve the demand for those features in those markets if they're wanting to convert people over from those
For
markets.
sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it'll be interesting too to see, it's kind of like, not to get political whatsoever, but you know how like when a third party comes in and it kind of unbalances the balance, when like crazy stuff happens. I mean, with ClickFunnels making this play at the WordPress market, you have all of these like, like Squarespace and Wix and right, that are like these kind of third party. They go for a market that I think is super overwhelmed by tech, and so they make it seem and appear like it's WYSIWYG, super easy.
Mm-hmm.
You and I both know that fallacy, they realize that fallacy pretty quick when they're trying to grow. But initially, similarly like Mailchimp gets people who are just beginning because it seems easy and it seems like a good solution,
Mm-hmm.
but it fails really quick the second that you start to grow, and then you have a massive like migration issue
Mm-hmm.
on your hands. So I feel like it'll be interesting to see, as ClickFunnels eats into this WordPress market, the impact on, like pulling in these third party people who are kind of, they're looking for an alternative to WordPress because WordPress seems like too much of a heavyweight. And has ClickFunnels been able to make it approachable enough, to be able to jump into? So
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. That's a really good point because uh, it's been a long time since I've used WordPress, but I did use it a lot at the time. So I'm thinking this had to have been almost 10 years ago that I was using WordPress. So it's been a while. But, they've got, and so if it's not like this anymore, you would know better than I would, Andrea. But you know how you have like your free WordPress blog, like anyone can go and create their free WordPress blog. But the moment you
Yeah.
want to like turn that into a website and be able to do any sort of e-commerce type anything on it, you have to actually go and you have to find a website host, and then you have to install WordPress on that server, right? So
Yep.
the cost of that may have come down since when I was using it, but I remember I was having to pay quite a bit of money for doing that. Not to mention, I had to know how to install WordPress onto the server, and I had to know how to deal with the index folders behind the scenes, and then like dealing with the WordPress interface of like all of the theme choices, and I had to pay for that if I wanted a theme that I wanted, and then I had to learn how to use that theme. So like it does seem like, oh, it's simple because I don't have to go build it from scratch. But when you get into it, it's like I would not touch WordPress at all today because it's like I don't want to have to go and relearn how to do all of that. I would rather just use ClickFunnels because it's way easier to do, and I can make things look the way I want them to look without having to go and purchase another $100 theme.
Yeah.
So yeah, to your point of like on the surface, people are attracted to those different options because of certain selling points, but when they get into it, it's like there's definitely better options out there for you, and ClickFunnels is definitely putting their foot in the in the market for all these different areas, which is exciting to see, but time will tell how well they actually execute on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that and this again, as a platform, as a play, I think the biggest pain point with WordPress, I have a couple clients now still today that I help them with their WordPress site, but I do it kind of begrudgingly. And, and it's always a conversation of like, when are we going to switch? When are we going to switch? But but some of them, they have, hundreds of thousands, some millions of followers. And so it's like, okay, we're just going to leave this as is, and we'll slowly migrate stuff, and do, ClickFunnels plugins. But I think where WordPress really gets problematic, and the headache is the plugin problem, right? It's like plugin, one plugin doesn't, respond because of another plugin. And then you get caught in the middle of like, it's this plugin's issue, it's that plugin's issue, and nobody will help you support the troubleshooting of the two plugins not playing nice together. And that's the headache with WordPress that just is enough to drive anyone crazy. So, as ClickFunnels grows and becomes this platform, hopefully they won't go down the plugin path. But I think anytime that you have, a platform where you can put in different people's little plugins, like you potentially do run into this issue. So Salesforce is a much better model. They have it much better figured out in terms of how you plug and play onto their platform. I think because they probably have more restrictive use of APIs and rules around that. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be interesting.
So we've talked about this a little bit already of like, we know that ClickFunnels is trying to, or at least it's in their plans to go down the add-on, which would essentially be plugins from third parties. So it is your hope that they model that after Salesforce instead of WordPress.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. Yep. I think some other people who are doing really good in terms of platform as a play. I mean, even like if you look at Stripe, they have an open API and you're starting to see apps come onto their platform that are super slick and do far better job of integrating. And so I think there's some other models out there. WordPress is really old. Like
it is really, I just said the last time I used it was 10 years ago, and that was definitely well into it.
Yeah. And the whole, I think, open API marketplace concept, right, is a pretty new concept. And I think that the plugin concept evolved probably, this is where it makes me want to do like a history lesson, but I think the plugin concept evolved before our understanding of what APIs are today, And so, yeah, it would be so, and so ClickFunnels is going to benefit from more of that open API current constructs, which is what we see in like a Salesforce or a newer technology like a Stripe.
Okay.
So.
Awesome. Because when you started bringing that up, you're like, where WordPress is really, really frustrating is all the plugins. And I'm sitting over here like, well, don't we want ClickFunnels to be doing plugins? Exactly. But it's totally different technology is what you're saying of how they could do it today versus how WordPress had to do it at the time.
Yeah.
And then they were just they're stuck in that. I'm just quickly pulling up our feed, our stream, to make sure there's
we're just busy chatting,
comments.
We're here. Yeah.
Ivy's on. Hey, Ivy.
Hey, Ivy.
So anyway, we are excited to see that we're getting closer. Today's the 28th of January, though. We were hoping, based on Russell's Christmas update, that we would have had something by now, but we don't. And that's okay. Means they're working out kinks, and we'd rather them do that than to give us broken things. So hopefully in the next month.
Yep. Fingers crossed.
I'm actually, our friend Dan Havey, of course, who's been in this group a lot and on videos with us. He
also on his deathbed, but I think coming back to living.
Unfortunately, he's also been really, really sick. And so I was just messaging him just a day or two ago saying like, I'm so glad that CF 2.0 isn't out yet, because him and I are like both sick. He's like, I can't even do videos if I wanted to. And so there are silver linings to things, and all in good time.
Yes. Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Okay, well, should we wrap it up?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Oh, one more thing. If you guys did not see it this week, in this group, I posted the trailer for our new podcast. Is coming out on Tuesday. This next Tuesday, February 1st is when we're going to launch it. So what we're going to do is all of the episodes that we have already recorded that are streamed right here in this group. This is where we are always recording the episodes. But maybe you haven't gotten through all of them. Maybe you just joined this group and you're like, oh, I gotta go watch all the videos now to catch up on everything. Well, we're just gonna publish all of them right onto the podcast stream. So if you go and subscribe to the podcast, then you can just binge the audio. I will give you fair warning though, that a lot of the videos we've done so far have visuals. So you may want to just take note of which ones we'll put at the beginning of each of the ones where we're like, oh, I think you should go and watch this in the group, so that you have a heads up before you get like halfway through the episode and you're like, I should have gone into the group. But that'll just be another way you can consume the information, and we're excited about it. It'll be another place for people to discover what we're doing here, and please share it. Share this group and share the podcast with anyone that you think would want to come out and geek out with us with ClickFunnels. Yeah.
And if you're not sworn to secrecy and you happen to have been one of the lucky ones that got on that early list, we would love to hear your experience.
Yes. Yeah. If you're not, if you're allowed to talk, we'd love to either just chat and get some quick information from you on your experience, or we could have you come in and be a guest. We'd love to, we are open to having guests too. So, absolutely. We have a secret interview that we've done Andrea and I did it like
That's
a
right.
month
We didn't
ago.
release that.
That was going to be one of the episodes that is released on February 1st. So you will see a teaser about that coming up probably on Monday. But on Tuesday, we have a super secret interview we did with someone that you all know. Someone you all know, but I'm not going to tell you anymore right now. So you'll have to subscribe to the podcast. I think we'll post it on the podcast first before we may post the video. I don't know if we will for that one. We'll see what happens. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, happy Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll be back next week.
Sounds good. See ya.